As we discuss this information over the next hour, it'll become clear that Western Michigan University will look different when we emerge from this current period. We will not be able to do everything we have been doing the way we have been doing it. I appreciate that this is anxiety producing for everyone, and that for too many, the consequences have already been too real. The best way I know how to deal with this is to tell you what I know now, even if I don't know every answer or every detail. We must make some of the toughest choices that leaders can make. Let me cut right to it and tell you that what we've already done, while substantial, will not be enough to meet our challenge. As we continue to work to determine the precise numbers or who will be affected, we anticipate that we will lay off a substantial number of our fellow employees. At this moment, we are still analyzing, taking great care, and making a very difficult decision. But it's critical that we are accurate with the information that we share. So while I'm not able to provide numbers right now, they will be forthcoming. What we know today is that every division will be impacted, and here's what to expect next. We'll finalize the number of positions needed to address each of the division's portion of an $85 million projected deficit in the event of our worst likelihood scenario. We're planning at the high end so that we're fully prepared in the fall when our budget picture firms up around August or early September. In the coming days, division leaders will submit to Human Resources their detailed reduction in force plans, which will include specific positions and any organizational change needed. Once submitted, Human Resources and the Office of Institutional Equity will review the plans to ensure we follow our established policies and affirm institutional equity. With layoffs at the order of magnitude, we anticipate final decisions and notifications to individual employees may come in phases by division as we move through this process.
When we think about the layoffs that were shared with our campus community in the last several weeks, we recognize that impacted one of our areas. But as we look to the changes necessary at the institution to reach the $85 million number, I think it's important to recognize that no position will be spared, and this is, or not no position, but no category of positions will be uninfluenced by this process. Our goal is to maintain, even enhance the way that we deliver our services. And we do so through change. So the processes that we follow in order to make the student experience outstanding may change. And so to do that level of change, many different levels of the organization will feel an impact. And so I think it might be a bit premature to say that only one category of employee will be impacted. And as my colleague, Dr. McCorkle indicated, we're taking a hard look at all of the options ahead of us, recognizing that we must live by our core principles, by those things that we hold dear, and to do so in a way that again preserves the student experience and our core mission.
Why are layoffs not the last resort? They seem to be impression that they're not a last resort. And then this also seems to be a terrible time to be losing employment, given a global economic and health crisis. Can you speak to that?
Yeah, Tony. Layoffs are the last resort. We treasure and value our employees. We have been looking for a whole variety of mechanisms to help us weather this storm. Whether we started off with a hiring freeze, so that privileging current employees instead of adding people on. We delayed $32 million in construction projects, reserving monies into our funds. We took pay cuts at the senior and the most senior level, at the dean level, and the staff. All of those, we restricted travel. All of those are part of looking at the ways that we can make needed adjustments in our operating costs. As the units are looking inside their individual plans, they're looking at their budgets for everything from utilities to supplies to travel to operating events. All of those things will not be left untouched. They will be affected. But unfortunately, the size of this problem, a 20% potential budget cut, is just too big to be able to manage with all of these different mechanisms. And so it is the last resort that we're coming to this stage and this step. And so these are some of the hardest decisions that any of us ever have to deal with. We understand the consequences of those steps and those decisions. And so we don't take them lightly, and we don't take them easily.